Hello guys, my name is Nitesh Kumar and I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm gonna do an introduction about a new social chapter called New Kings and Kingdoms. Basically, this is the second chapter in our NCERT textbook of social science. So this chapter is all about the new kings and the kingdoms who were ruling in the period of medieval period. So in this new kings and kingdoms were all about the medieval period. So the medieval period had a lot of changes between the olden age period and the medieval period. So as they've given in the textbook, many new dynasties emerged after the 7th century. So they're telling that the dynasties means the kingdoms. That means like Mughals, Cholas, Pandyas, and Cheras, like the new dynasties who came to the India in the 7th century, in the medieval period. So map 1 shows the major ruling dynasties in different parts of the subcontinent between the 7th and 12th centuries. So between the 7th and 12th centuries, these are the dynasties who emerged in India. So there are Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, and Rashtrakutas, Chahamanas, Kanauj, and Indraprastha, and Palas. So they've given the marking they've given. So this there are Rashtrakutas, Chahamanas, and Palas. So these three are really very big dynasties which are emerged in the India. So as we move in the second slide, the emergence of new dynasties. By the 7th century, there were big landlords. They are telling that in the 7th century there were big landlords. Means landlords is nothing but the owners of the land. That's all. Or warrior chiefs in different regions of the subcontinent. So there were big owners or warrior chiefs in different regions of the subcontinent. So existing kings often acknowledge them as their subordinates and or samantas. So like we just take an example that an king has acquired an another king's kingdom. So when he acquire and he has win that kingdom, he can make the opponent king as in Samantha. So he can make him like a worker in his kingdom and give him much of respect and make him to collect taxes or give him some other work. So those who are defeated by another king and then made to collect and made to do some work are called as samantas or subordinates. So after that, they were expected to bring gifts for their kings or overlords. So they're telling that the samantas or subordinates were supposed to bring gifts or to the overlords. Overlords means a king who has acquired that some other king. They were called as subordinate or samantas. So be present their courts and provide them with military support. Like I said, the other king has acquired the other king. The defeated king has some military support, right? The military support will be given to the winning king. So as Samantas gain power and wealth, they declaim them to be self as Mahasamantas. So they're telling that the Samantas gain power. So how they gain power means they gain the power of this people. The people supported the Samantas, and he's saying that the winning king that the people are supporting me, so I'm gonna rule my place now. So the winning king cannot do that. Without the people support, he cannot rule that place. So the Samantas became that Mahasamantas or Mahamandaleshwara. So what is this Mahasamantas and Mahamandaleshwara? They've given the definition in here. They've given as the great lord of a circle or region. It's nothing but the region of that king's place is called as the great lord of that region is called as Mahasamanta. Sometimes they asserted their independence from their overlords. That means the winning king was ruling the defeated king. So sometimes they would fight for each other, like they want to acquire the other king's land. So sometimes they wanted the independence from their overlords or king, the winning king. One such instance was that of the Rashtrakutas in the Deccan. So they're giving an example of really big dynasties who ruled in India. They were Rashtrakutas in the Deccan. So anciently they were subordinate to Chalukyas. So likewise, we see that Samantas or subordinates, like the Chalukyas defeated Rashtrakutas. So the Rashtrakutas king was the subordinate to Chalukya's king of Karnataka. In the mid 8th century, Danti Durga, a Rashtrakuta chief, overthrew his Chalukya overlord. So they're telling that in the mid 8th century, we know that the medieval period began in the 7th century. The new dynasties emerged in India. So when we are going to see that, they're telling that Rashtrakuta chief means like king. Danti Durga, his name was Danti Durga, overthrew his Chalukya overlord. That means he's not going to listen to his overlord, means the king of the Chalukyas. So he told that and performed a ritual called Hiranya Garbha, literally the golden womb. So he's telling that the Danti Durga performed a ritual called Hiranya Garbha. So this is nothing but like the kings made a ritual called Hiranyagarbha, means the golden womb. This ritual was performed with the help of Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas, who means we know the four parts of this, and the Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So these are the four major castes which were present in the medieval period. So it was thought to lead to the rebirth of a sacrificer as a Kshatriya. So like Danti Durga was a Brahmana, he performed this Hiranya Garbha to become a Kshatriya. Because of performing this ritual, they can become a Kshatriya. This was the main concept of Danti Durga. So he can become a Kshatriya and fight against the Chalukyas. Even he was not one by birth. That means when he was born, he was not an Kshatriya. He can change from any category to Kshatriya. In the other cases, men from enterprising families used their military skills to carve out kingdoms. For instance, in the other cases means the men's who were like to become a Kshatriya, they performed Hiranyagarbha, right? In the some other cases, men enterprising their families using their military skills. Like if we use military skills means we can show that we are Kshatriya, so we have some fighting skills against the opponent team. So some of them showed their military skills to prove them as Kshatriya. For instance, the Kadamba, Mayura Sharman and the Gujara Pratihara Harishchandra were Brahmanas who gave up their traditional professions and took to arms, successfully establishing kingdoms in Karnataka and Rajasthan respectively. So they're telling the two kingdoms, the Kadamba Mayura Sharman and the Gujara Pratihara Harishchandra were Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas who are means like they perform rituals and study Veda and teach Veda. So that's their work. Now what this one are doing is that they're showing their skills of military skills and proving themselves as Kshatriyas. They gave up the Brahmanas work. Now they are proving that they are like fighting the other kings as Kshatriya. So the Kshatriya, these two major Kadamba Mayusha Sharman and Gujara Pratihara Harishchandra, successfully establishing kingdoms in Karnataka and Rajasthan respectively. So what they did, they successfully succeeded in their Kshatriya's military skills, like establishing kingdoms in Karnataka and Rajasthan respectively. That means they successfully established the kings in Karnataka and Rajasthan respectively. So these are the emergency of new dynasties which we explained today. So next we'll go on to the administration in the kingdoms. So what is administration? The ministers will be appointed in a kingdom. Like the king cannot do his work every time, so he needs some people to help him to do some works. So he appointed some many ministers. The king appointed some many ministers to control and develop the kingdom more and the security system of the kingdom. So many of these new kings adopted high surrounding titles such as Maharaja Adiraja, Great King Overlord. That means the new kings gave a title to themselves, high sounding titles. That means they're giving a title like now we use our nickname, right? We gave like our parents call us, they gave them a new title called as such. Maharaja Adhiraja means great king, overlord of kings. So that the kings gave them their own title, they changed their name and gave them own title. So next one is Tribhuvana Chakravartin, lord of three worlds, and so on. However, in spite of such claims, they often shared power with the Samantas as well as association with the peasants, traders, and Brahmanas. So, what these kings done is, after taking the title, they shared power with the Samantas as well. You know, the Samantas who are defeated kings ruling by the winning king, with the association of peasants, traders, and Brahmanas. So, they used peasants and traders and Brahmanas to take the support of them and rule the kingdom very nicely. So this was their plan. Just 1 minute. Yeah. In each of the states, resources were obtained from the producers, that is, peasants, cattle keepers, assistants, who were often persuaded or compelled to surrender part of what they produce. So what they're telling is the king of the states resources means such as iron and some of the trade which has been obtained from their kingdom has been given to the producers, that is peasants, cattle keepers, assistants, who were persuaded or compelled under the surrender of what they produced. So what they did, that the peasants and the cattle keepers who produced some things for the kingdoms, they were persuaded and compelled. So sometimes these were claimed as rent due to the lord who asserted that he owned the land. Because if someone buy a land, we often tell them we taken a rent. Like that, the king also done for this peasants and cattle keepers. Revenue was also collected from traders. So the main point is that the revenue in the medieval period, in the kings would not collect the revenue from traders. The revenue was also collected from the traders. So the resources were used to finance the king's establishment as well as for the constructions of temples and forts. So the resources which came from peasants, cattle keepers, and artisans were used for the establishment and the improvement of these the kingdoms. So as well as for the constructions of temples and forts. So the main basic thing is we can see here is that the temples which were constructed by the kings were very important. So they would store some valuable things in that. So the first a king should acquire means they would only target the temples first, because they are kept so many valuable items so that so the opponent team can acquire it. They were also used to fight wars. You know that to win another king's kingdom, we need military support. The kings need military support. So what the kings used to do is these resources were used for the military support. Like the wood which was from the rumors which were from the forest have given the resources to the kings for the establishment of the improvement of the military support, and which were in turn expected to lead to the acquisition of wealth in the form of plunder and access to the land as well trade routes. So like this it built on, like it was improvising the kingdom, and the trade also started from it, as the and kingdom has many resources in their land. So the resources were also traded in the trade routes for the traders who makes money for them, and they can improvise their kingdom. So this is it for this video, guys. This is the part 1. In the next video I'm going to do the part 2 of processes and land grants. So stay watching my videos. Bye guys.